Once upon a time, the last time I told a story had poison in it.
No.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi, I'm Vianne.
And welcome to our Story Game podcast. Where we're going to make up a story on the spot using 5 sentences.
Once upon a time, every day, till one day, because of that, till fun.
And that makes a complete story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Story Game with Joe and Vianne.
I did Mom to tell a story about poison.
About poisoned?
Yeah.
But someone being poisoned?
You can pick.
Okay.
Or someone being poisoned, probably.
Okay, it has to have poison in the story. Okay. Can you sit still and listen to my story nicely? Okay. Once upon a time, the last time I told a story had poison in it.
No, it had.
It had a witch, and the witch made poison.
No, it had a witch that made spoiled. I don't know.
Alright, I gotta think of another story that has poison in it. It's hard when you've already come up with one. Except you always come up with stories about cats. You notice that?
I know very facts about cats.
Alright. Once upon a time, there was a wizard who made poison to cast a spell on his worst enemy. And he gave the poison in a nicely wrapped box of chocolates to his worst enemy.
Oh.
And his worst enemy, he didn't know this because they weren't very close, didn't like chocolates. So he rewrapped the chocolates and gave them to his neighbor. And the neighbor was going out for dinner that night and went, "Oh no, we forgot to get a gift." So they took the box of chocolates with them to the people who they were having dinner with. And the people...
the people are the worst with the enemy.
And the people at the dinner party forgot to buy dessert. So they decided to share the chocolates with everybody at the dinner party.
Forgot to order dessert.
Yeah, they forgot to get dessert. So everybody at the dinner party was going to have these chocolates for dessert, not knowing that they were from the wizard and they were poisoned. But what the wizard didn't know was that he had mixed up the ingredients. And by putting, he substituted the chocolate for some really bad black magic stuff. He put chocolate in instead, and it made the potion not work right. So instead of poisoning everybody, it gave everybody really long noses. So everybody at the dinner party had these really long noses that grew out of their faces and bumped into each other, and they were whacking each other with their noses.
And then...
Oh, you're going to take my story?
If you say that word that says got to
pass?
Yeah, pass.
Okay, I will pass. You've got an idea what happens to all the people with the long noses?
One of the wizard's worst enemy comes in.
Yeah.
And then says, "Oh, I want a lot of chocolate."
Okay.
And they eat all the rest of the chocolate, and they have a really, really big nose, and it smashes into his head, and it goes, "Uh-oh."
But because these people have really long noses, they can smell the magic, and they sniff, and they follow the chocolate trail back to the neighbor's house, and they sniff, and they sniff, and they get back to the wizard's worst enemy's house, and they sniff all the way back to the wizard's house, where they say, "This is where the magic came from."
I gotta like.
Okay, pass. You go. So they're at the wizard's house with their really long noses. They sniffed him out. Then what?
And then they get another box and it has poisoned inside the chocolate, like all inside it.
Well, that's what happened before,
No,
but it got
but
mixed
it's
up.
a different poison.
It's a different, so what's this one do? Why would they eat more chocolates, though? They wouldn't eat more chocolates because they probably would lose their taste for it after their noses got
They
big.
would. Yeah, I want some real chocolate, not like that wizard thing. Can I please have some chocolate that does not have poison? Sure, I'll just make some. Here you go. And then they.
So he tries to poison them again, the
Yes,
same
but-
thing.
But
what happens this time?
their eyes pops out.
Their eyes pop out
Yeah, and then
and roll around on the floor.
yeah, and
Ew.
they go like.
So then I got long noses and no eyes.
Yes.
This is gruesome.
And no mouth.
And no, what happened to the mouth?
It got chopped off.
It got chopped off.
Like they-
Golly.
So
The
like
story's getting away from us.
Okay.
Along with every part of their face.
pass.
Okay. So these people have no eyes, no mouth, and no
No.
noses.
And they just
Oh no,
have
long noses. Okay. So the wizard. No, you passed. I get to say something. Okay. All right, Vianne, what happens next? You've totally taken my story.
Then they get a pencil and
How do they get no
at the wizard
boycott?
and then it's stuck in his
He
eye.
doesn't have an eye. Nobody has any eyes.
No.
in this visitor.
No, the wizard.
Okay, so the wizard has got all these gruesome people walking around with their faces all weird, and
And then
because they can't see anything, they start bumping into all the cupboards and cabinets and stuff, and they knock down all of the different potions, and they all mix together on the floor, and they all create this great big gooey smoke that goes everywhere, and it cures them, and they go back to normal.
oh, I have an idea.
Oh, you have an idea? Okay, what's your idea?
They could, when they get back to normal, they could actually get a pencil and then go to the wizard and say, "Hey, I have a spice for you." And
Okay, that
stab
is
it.
really gruesome. What is it with you and the pencils?
Stab it in
No,
the.
I don't like these pencil stories. Pencils are for writing, not for stabbing people.
Goodbye.
Share your story that includes poison. And
No, it doesn't include poison. Okay. Okay. Okay.
and we'll share it on the podcast.
Okay.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Thank you for joining us this week on The Story Game. And it is so easy to tell a story. You just use the 5 sentences. Start with once upon a time, every day, until, because of that, and then finally. And you saw in this story how Vianne went back and forth between the until, because of that, until, because of that. And that made the story longer than 5 sentences. And that is totally fine. You just need to have that wrap up at the end. So share your stories, guys, on social media. Tag us at Every Story My Story, or me personally at Joan McClelland Phillips on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, can't wait to see your stories, guys. You can read this story on the blog. Link in the comments below. Thanks, guys.